Hello. I'm doing a short video. I hope it's short. I've tried this a few times and have run well over 17 minutes. So we'll try to keep it under 15. Definitely not going to be under 10. So I want to thank Fran and Kevin for the opportunity. Also, I got the hat on. I have the sweatshirt on. So thank you very much, Kevin and Fran. Awesome. I love them. And I'll just introduce myself. My name's Charlotte. I grew up in Sackville, Beaverbank, Nova Scotia, and have lived here for the duration of my life. And I am currently an elementary school teacher. And the small portion of my life that I'm going to share, or part of my story, is about my health or lack thereof. And I I'm smiling because I can. So I was born with many allergies, even though my parents didn't know, and I was very sick when I was young. The doctor at the time said that I would grow out of it. However, I did not. I did not grow out of the allergies. In fact, they got worse. And by the time I hit grade school, I was having migraines, I was vomiting, I was lethargic, I had a lot of brain fog, excessive tiredness. My skin was like red, blotchy in certain places. I know what it is now, but I didn't know back then. Certain spots on my body would be extremely hot and sensitive to the touch. That would stay for a couple of hours or a couple of days, and then it would just go away. And, it wasn't until I was about 10 because the family doctor my family didn't know what it was and they didn't know what it was, so they didn't know how to treat it, and in conversation with somebody that my mom was speaking to, they suggested maybe it was allergies, so it wasn't until I was 10 years old that they found out it was allergies that I was suffering from, and back in the day, that was when they used to scratch your back, with a needle or some type of, medical implement, and then, they would cut it till it bled, and then they would put the allergens on that to see if there was a reaction. Well, they tested me for 100, things, and I was, allergic out of all of those to every single one. And so my parents had to make a huge change in my diet. Some of the allergens were environmental, and most of those didn't change. Like, for example, I was allergic to cigarette smoke, and my dad smoked, and he smoked in the house. So no changes were made there. And so I did get relatively healthy after that. I always had a little bit of extra weight on me in case I did have a reaction where and that I wasn't able to sleep or I was vomiting up the things that I ate. Um, so it was when I started feeling better that I realized, hey, I'm going to go for a run this morning. So this started in grade 5, the tail end of grade 5, and I would get up and I would run every morning, and I continued that right up and through to grade 12. When I hit grade 6, I realized that hey, I could join the track team, and I remember going to a metropolitan field for the track event for grade 4, 5s, and 6s, and I thought, hey, I'd like to do this again. So I also did track and field from grade 7 through to grade 12. And I attempted basketball. I did make the team every year. I wasn't that great, but I was involved, and where I had missed out on so many things when I was younger, I was happy just to be a part of it. On top of those sports, I was also playing for women's B League team under 18. And then when I hit over 18, I was playing for one of those teams. And one of my first injuries was playing soccer. There was a snowstorm. That night, I had forgotten my cleats, so we had to backtrack. And we got there just as the game was starting, and I didn't warm up. First shift out, I kicked the ball, and I heard a tear. Completely disgusting. Soon as my foot hit the ground, I fell. Turns out I had torn my Achilles tendon there, and it had bruised from my big toe right up to my knee. At the time, I was on the St. Mary's track team, so that was out. Soccer was out. And I was 2 days away from having surgery. They told me if there wasn't any improvement that they would have to go through with it. And thankfully, they started to heal up a little bit, and I was able to have a little bit of movement there, so I didn't have to do the surgery. Let's take it 6 years, fast forward 6 or 7 years after that. I was in my final year at St. Mary's, finishing up a double major, and this would happen the night before school was to start that year. It happened on September 6th, I think, and school started on the 7th. I have a tendency to run up and down stairs. I do it all the time. even in the summer in flip-flops, you take 2 stairs at a time, and I've lost several toenails, because I slipped and, my toenail slipped and then the toenail comes off, and, still that didn't deter me from running up and down the stairs. So, this was after a shower that I had, and I was running down the stairs. I was on the balls of my feet, and I slipped. And I didn't slip down the stairs. I kind of slipped like they do in the cartoons where they like spin their legs and they go up and then right back down. To be honest, I didn't know that was even possible until it happened to me. And I later learned that when you do fall like that, that the impact is 5 times your weight. So I must have been at least 110, 115 pounds. So what's that? Coming down with the weight of 550 plus pounds, and I fell on my back, my lower back, and I remember sitting there. It was dark, the hallway light was out, like the stairwell light was out. I remember sitting there thinking, "Oh, wow, that really hurt." And that's all I said. I got up. Um, I don't even remember what happened after that. I remember seeing a doctor, and I remember being on medication. But the current doctor that I had, when I went to see her, she had no intentions of sending me for an X-ray or anything of the sort. So about every 2 weeks, I went to her and I told her the symptoms. Um, and these were the symptoms. They were quite bad. I had hearing loss. I had problems speaking. I couldn't see properly out of my left eye. I was shuffling along. I was having a hard time walking. Severe pain in my back, severe pain in the front lower part of my torso, and also I wasn't able to hold on to anything. I would ask my daughter to pass me something, and she would, even if it was paper, like if it was something light, she would pass it to me, and my fingers would be closed, but it would just fall to the floor, and that happened for about 6 months. And it wasn't until the 4 month mark at Christmas time, my doctor at the time told me that she thought I had ovarian cancer. So I had to go for laparoscopic surgery to check that out during my winter break in February. Um, and I was struggling through university. Thankfully, I had really gracious professors. Some of them passed me with a C that semester when really I shouldn't have passed at all. There was one professor, she gave me an A plus, and I had missed 75% of the classes. And so again, I'm so thankful to them for that. But at the same time, not thankful for my doctor. And it was after I had the laparoscopic surgery that she said everything looked okay. And I said to her, "Well, what are we going to do next?" She started to yell at me, tell me I was ungrateful and I wasn't thankful to her. And at that point, I decided to transfer doctors. And what happened was, is she that doctor sent me for an X-ray, so it went to my new doctor and to her. And it turns out that I had a hairline fracture in my pelvic bone from the top to the bottom, and I had a crack in the joint. And she had called for 3 weeks, wouldn't leave a message because I was still trying to make it through school, still dealing with all the health issues. And I booked an appointment with her. She pulled me into her office and showed me the X-ray. And then what she did, she put on the file that I was a terrible communicator, that there was a falling out because I yelled at her, which was, of course, the complete opposite. It was her that was not doing her job. And so she gave me, a number of people to go see and specialists to see if they could figure it out and get me healthy. So all these issues continued to the point where I started having convulsions. And, I would smell the burnt toast smell, and then my body would just vibrate. I didn't pass out at the end, so the doctors weren't quite sure what to make of that. And um, I actually lost a job because of this. I remember I was supposed to be offered a job the day this happened, and it happened while I was teaching at Millwood Elementary School. And I knew it was going to happen because it had happened 2 nights prior. And I called my mom. She was close. I knew she was off that day, and I asked her if she could take me to Cobequid. And I made it as far from, it was about 2 kilometers, like maybe Millwood to somewhere there in Sackville, and I couldn't drive anymore. I had the convulsion. My mom and her husband, both nurses, they take me up to Cobequid, and it was that. So this was 4 years after I fell, um, that I was still having major health issues. And the neurologist, or sorry, they sent me to a neurologist 3 weeks later. He thought I had MS because of all the symptoms. I wasn't able to keep my balance, wasn't walking straight, and plus the pain in my eye and the hearing and stuff. So I went through a battery of tests with him, and there was a doctor, just one of the rotating doctors. He wasn't from Sackville, in the emerge, and he told me that I had nerve damage here in the lower occipital nerve, and that's what was causing the headaches. And I had a headache for the first year and a half after I fell, vomiting, wasn't able to see, dizzy, couldn't drive, I was fainting, incredibly awful. And I remember laying in bed and the sun was out, and I'm thinking, I'm missing another day to do what I want. And I remember thinking that when I was young. When I had the allergies, and there was, like the doctors weren't able to help or they weren't educated enough. And I remember laying in bed, hearing my brother and his friends and my friends outside playing, and here I was inside just laying in bed. It's a horrible feeling. And I had that all over again working through this injury. But that would be the day. This is what I tell my mom and my daughter. That'll be the day that I stop doing sports. So, it took me a while. I would go out, I would walk for about 15 minutes, and the cycle would happen all over again. I'd get headaches, vomiting, not able to sleep because I was in so much pain, taking medication. And then as soon as I felt better, I was right back out there. And it took me about 4 years after that to be able to run 3 kilometers. And I still get the headaches afterwards. And I thought, okay, well, I'm just gonna keep at this. I joined soccer again. I've been playing for many years now. And also, in the allergy sector, my body hasn't gotten any better. In fact, it also has continued to get worse. And I'm allergic to scented products. I had like a near death experience at one of the schools of a colleague who knew I was allergic to scented products, and she wore them to work anyway. And I was in emerge. I missed like a couple of weeks of school. I wasn't eating. And I had to I had at that point, I had gone before that, I had gone to see a naturopath, and my health was doing much better, and it kinda just put me into a deep, spiral health-wise. And and I have to say, it's very, very hard not to be angry at people. So through this journey specifically attached to my health, I have learned how to find forgiveness when I didn't think that I had it. Because you hear people say, "Oh, I have allergies. My eyes are watering, and my nose is stuffed up." And I'm thinking, yes, well, my allergies, like they put me in the hospital, and I'm under watch, with doctors wondering whether I'm going to make it or not. And, so, I have to put out forgiveness there because they just don't understand, or they don't want to understand. I've had people tell me that I make my allergies up or the symptoms up. I've had people tell me, don't run, it's too dangerous. Because about after 15 clicks, I have nerve damage in my back from the fall as well, that my legs usually go numb, and it becomes problematic for me to walk when I finally finish running. I've had a couple of injuries in soccer as well, concussions, a fractured arm, dislocated bone, but I'm just not going to stop because I know what it's like not to have those things, and because I love them so much, I'll continue to do them. And so I forgive those people, mostly my mom and my daughter are the ones telling me that, like that's dangerous to play, and I'm like, you're right, but I'm going to do it anyway because I can't picture my life without physical activity, or without the competitiveness, or what you feel like before you play a game, what you feel like when you win, when you lose, all those types of things. And if I can just encourage um, anybody today with this video, is that health is a tricky thing, and sometimes your body will heal itself and heal on its own, and other times you have to fight for it. You have to really want it. And I'm, still running. I've done a couple of 5Ks, a couple of 10Ks. I've done a couple of half marathons, which is 21.1 Ks. And this year, my goal, 2022, is to do a full. I don't know if I'll be able to do it, but I hope, and I'm going to try. So I just want to encourage again anybody who's struggling with their health, that it's okay. And it's okay that people don't understand, because most people don't. And they don't take the time to listen. They don't take, even doctors don't take the time to listen. They kind of push it off, tell you you're stressed, tell you that you're making things up. And I want to tell you that more than likely you're not. And what you're feeling is probably pretty accurate. And just to keep going, to push on, um, to take hold of the life that you want to have and aim for that. And yeah, so thanks for letting me share again, Fran and Kevin. And I hope I see you guys soon. Bye.